Hey guys, welcome to Bowhunting Soul. Okay, you're kind of on my dash here, and you're with me when I'm running a couple little errands today, and I'm also going to go small game hunting, shooting a few videos, that kind of thing. So, point of this video is traveling to hunt. Okay, and so just some things to consider, especially if you're going to drive. If you're going to drive to hunt. Okay, now having done a couple of these out-of-state hunting trips in the last several years now, I'm not necessarily an expert, but just some things that are going through my mind, some things to think about. Is it worth it to fly? Is it worth it to drive? We'll talk about that. So in the last 4 or 5 years, I've flown once to a hunt, and I've driven 4 times. Okay. Now, one was to Florida. Yeah, one was to Florida. One was to North Carolina, and the other three were to Georgia. Three to Georgia. So, I drive a Jeep Wrangler. Okay, now this is all gonna depend on what car you have, how much mileage you get, that kind of thing. First couple of trips I did in my Hyundai Elantra. Ended up a little bit cheaper. If you're gonna fly, okay, people are like, oh man, it's gonna be expensive, it's gonna be too much, I don't want to do that. You really got to think about, is it worth it to fly or drive? Now and I'm not saying do one or the other, but don't discount one immediately thinking one's going to be too expensive. And it all depends on you and your personal, your life, your family life, home life, all that kind of stuff, right? All that matters. Let's start with driving, okay? You can put all kinds of stuff in your car, in your Jeep, whatever. You can carry more stuff, but when you're driving, it's what is your time worth to you? Last trip I went down to Georgia, I took 3 days vacation, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, I live in Minnesota, driving all the way down to southeast Georgia. Took every bit of 30 hours. That includes like sleeping for like 3 hours here, 3 hours there. But I mean, it's a long drive. I mean, it's like a 21, 24, something like that hour drive, just about a 24-hour drive. Plus you lose an hour, plus all the gas stops and all that stuff. And gas-wise, this time, with winter gas and, winds and things like that, and I drive a box, I paid almost like over $500 in gas. The total trip probably cost maybe like $650, under $700. But by far, the biggest chunk of money came from gas in this car. Now, those roads down in Fort Stewart, Georgia, yeah, you need something like this. But, if you have a little more fuel efficient car and you're going somewhere else here, and you're going maybe not so far down the back roads that all the roads that you maybe want to go down, you kind of sacrifice that a little bit. Okay, you can take a different car. You can take a different SUV. You can take something that's a little more fuel efficient. Gas is one factor, but what is your time worth? I'm married. We have a 12-year-old daughter, right? Being away from home plus work, right? Being away from home sucks. You got family duties, you got family vacations, and all that stuff that you need to save all your PTO for. So I took 3 days of PTO, and I came back like Sunday night. I left Wednesday morning at like 1:30 in the morning. Sorry if it's loud in here. I apologize. It's a Jeep. And I got back, I don't know, like late Sunday night. For the 5 days that I was gone, 60 hours of that was driving. Okay, it's about 30 hours there, 29, 30 back, depending. That's a lot of driving. It's a lot of, and I'm used to it, but it's more time away from, it's two things. It's more time away from home, and it's just, you get exhausted, right? So 60 hours out of 5 days, and you're thinking, wait a minute, 5 days is 60 hours. No, it's not. But 60 hours worth out of 5 entire days is a lot. And it's a lot to spend in this thing, driving around. Would it have been better if I'd flown? Well, maybe not to Fort Stewart. I don't know. That's kind of tough. But let's just think of it this way. If I was to fly down, let's say like this past year I went down to North Carolina to hunt with my buddy Jim. Same thing. It took almost like a day and a half, a long time to get there. It wasn't quite 30 hours, but it was every bit of 24, I think, and 24 back. Same thing. Just bomb it down there, hunt for a couple days, and come back. I spent more days on the road than I did hunting. Okay? Now, I spend a little bit less in gas, like 4 something that time, but still, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of gas that you're spending, right? And you're going to spend that whether you're going to do the car thing or you're going to fly. But what does it gain you? If you fly down, maybe you don't have to burn up 3 days worth of PTO. Okay? Maybe you might burn up a half a day of PTO. You make a quick hunt out of it. You fly out on a Friday afternoon, Friday night, hunt, and then come back Sunday night. That's an option. It's quick, it's compact, it's doable. In the end, you're probably going to spend the same amount of money. You're going to say, well, what do you do when you get there? Well, if you're flying in and your buddy can pick you up, or if you fly in somewhere and you split, a rental car, a cheap rental car for a couple days. It's doable. But what have you gained? Well, you've gained more time at home or more time to hunt while you're there, right? One of the two, whichever is your priority. You save that PTO time, you save that vacation time. And plus you've saved a lot of stress driving, right? It's mentally exhausting. Driving sucks. People suck on the road. The roads suck. Sometimes I like driving long distance and sometimes I really, really don't. So what is your time worth to you? So if you'd have flown in somewhere, get a quick hunt in. Let's say you want to go to one of these places in Florida, right? You want to get a quick hog hunt in. One of the pick your pork kind of places. I used to hunt those all the time. Nothing wrong with them. I still may do it again in the future. You fly down. Let's say you get a flight to Orlando. You get a cheap rental car, and you fly in Friday night. Go to your hog hunt Saturday. Fly back Sunday. Okay, it's going to cost you, I don't know, $1,000, let's say. Including the paying the outfitter and going and rental and all that stuff. Maybe even $1,200. You're going to say, wow, that's crazy. $1,200 for 2 days. One 2-day trip kind of thing. Okay, but again, what did that get you? If you're in the winter doldrums and you want to go hunt somewhere, and you want to get your kicks, going hog hunting or whatever, and you're trying to get in a quick weekend to scratch that itch, well, maybe it's worth it to you to spend $1,000, $1,200. Go hunting, go do that, go do something else down there, and then fly back. And you can fly back with, and I'll do a longer video on how you can fly with stuff and what do you do with the meat and all that stuff. I don't give a crap about horns. We're not talking about antlers or skulls or capes or any of that garbage. The mice can eat them in the woods for all I care. I don't give a crap about antlers. But getting meat back, right, is, deboned meat is not that, doesn't take up a lot of room. You can put that in a very small cooler and fly home with it, and if you have the right duffel bag, or a travel case, something Safari Tough, those things look pretty sweet. Three Rivers sells other stuff, some cases and flying duffels and cases and things like that. You could do that. And you're thinking, wow, man, that's a lot of money to spend for a couple days. Okay, maybe. But if that's like your little mini vacation that gets you through the winter, that's fine. And what does that gain to you? You still have all your PTO. You still have time at home, or again, you have more time, to hunt wherever you're going and less time driving. So I'm not saying do one or the other. I'm just saying think about it. I like the comfort of being able to sleep in the car. Not really comfortable, but the ability to, camp out, sleep in the car. Sure. I like the ability to kind of set my own pace. Although I feel like I always, despite doing that, I feel like I'm constantly pushing because I want to get there fast, hunt as much as I can, and then bomb at home so I can be at work. Okay, that's the sacrifice you have to make. But, think about the wear and tear as well. Is it really worth it to drive? Like when I went to Georgia and back, I put almost like 1,400 miles each way. So plus the driving around down there. So you got about 2,900 miles on a car. That's tires, that's engine wear, that's wear on everything, right? Your suspension, your joints, your drivetrain, transmission, engine, everything. Every mile your car goes down the road, you may not see it right away, but it's adding to the wear and tear of your car. So you got to add that to the cost. You may not think about that as you're doing it, but it's costing you money to do it, aside from just gas. I'm not even talking gas. What if your car breaks down 1,000 miles from home? What if your car breaks down 300 miles from home, 150 miles from home? AAA tows free for 100 miles, okay? But what if, you got the family grocery getter down there and it's stuck in some state, 3, 4, 5 states over, and then what? The money that you're going to attempt to save, now you got to pay for a tow truck, you got to pay for repair bills out of state. Good luck with that. Good luck trying to get it in to a mechanic out of state. Good luck with that. And you got to stay in a hotel for a couple days, let's say. That's adding to your cost. So have you really saved any money? And I'm not saying your car's going to break down every time, but I'm just saying, think about it. Your car might break down. This stuff might happen. And if it does happen, you're a long way from home. Have you really saved any money? I don't know. Probably not, right? And again, just the regular wear and tear on stuff. So when you're doing the math of, should I fly somewhere? Should I drive somewhere? Look at the big picture. Look at the big picture of the wear and tear on your car and your time. I think your time is the most important one. What's your time worth? If you have all the time in the world, you have way more money than me or whatever, that's fine. And if you're mechanically inclined, you can fix things on the side of the road. But some things you can't, right? What if it's something major? What if it's something needs diagnostics? You can't. So you got to think about that. Just some things to think about. I'm kind of repeating myself here, but just ramblings of a guy who, again, I'm not an expert on this, but I mean, I've flown to hunt and I've driven to hunt, and between all of that, I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. I'll probably end up doing a little bit of both, honestly. But look at the big picture. Look at the big picture and plan around it. No matter what, when you travel somewhere, it's going to cost you money. The best thing you can do, it's cold in here, the best thing you can do is save up for that money and just assume that you're going to use it. Don't try to cheap out on things, because it's a lot better to just spend the money and just do it and get the right stuff, get the right gear, and plan for that contingency, emergency contingency money, and assume that that's going to be used up, and then just be okay with it. Be at peace with it. Saying, okay, this is what I'm going to spend on this trip. Okay, and if you end up spending less, you're going to be happy about it. But I guarantee you, if you go on one of these trips and you have a great time and you have an adventure, whether you shoot something or you don't shoot something, you're never going to come back. I never do anyway, and say, oh man, I regret spending all that money. Okay, if you've saved for it, and if it's something that's like the trip is the adventure. And again, whether you fly, whether you drive, that's the adventure. And enjoy it, and then save up for the next one. That's the best way to look at this thing. Because if you think about it about penny pinching, you're going to have a terrible time. All right. Anyway, that's it. I'm done rambling here. Just some thoughts off the top of my head. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments below. I want to know if you guys travel to hunt, and which direction you lean, or maybe you have a different take on this. So I really appreciate that. Anyway, thanks for riding along with me guys today. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you next time.